The church was packed with relatives, friends, and business partners who had come to pay their last respects. Everyone was dressed in black, pretending to mourn. I was standing beside a coffin with our 10-year-old son when my husband quietly slipped a brown envelope into my hands. "Sign it before everyone leaves," he whispered. I frowned. "What is this?" He looked around to make sure no one was listening before saying, "Our divorce papers." For a few seconds, I couldn't hear anything around me. Not the pastor, not the choir, not even the crying relatives. I just stared at him, wondering if grief had made him lose his mind. "Are you serious?" I asked quietly. He said yes, without a trace of emotion. "The lawyer is outside. Once you sign, everything will be easier." I laughed bitterly. Easier for who? He leaned closer. "For both of us. Don't embarrass me today." Embarrass him? After 16 years of marriage? After helping him build his transport company from a single old bus to a fleet that operated across 3 states? After selling my late mother's jewelry so he could pay off his first bank loan? I had sacrificed everything for that man. Even during the years when his father became bedridden after a stroke, I was the one who bathed him, fed him, and took him to hospital appointments, while my husband claimed he was too busy with work. Yet today, on the day we were saying goodbye to his father, he wanted to throw me away like yesterday's newspaper. Before I could respond, a woman walked into the church wearing the expensive gold necklace I had bought my husband for our 15th wedding anniversary. She wasn't family, but she walked confidently, greeting him with a smile that was far too familiar. When our eyes met, she quickly looked away. My heart sank. So this was why. The late night meetings, the secret phone calls, the sudden business trips, everything finally made sense. Just then, my husband quietly said, "If you sign today, I'll allow you to keep your car." Allow me. The same car I bought with my own salary before we even got married. I held the envelope tightly, but didn't open it. Instead, I slipped it into my handbag. My husband smiled, convinced I had accepted defeat. He had no idea I was waiting for the right moment. And a few minutes later, his late father's lawyer stood up and cleared his throat. "I have one final instruction from the deceased," he announced. "The family is requested to remain seated. There is a letter that must be read before anyone leaves." The smile on my husband's face slowly disappeared. He looked nervous. For the first time that day, I realized something. He wasn't afraid of losing me. He was afraid of what his father already knew. And whatever was inside that letter could change everything. The church became completely silent. Everyone turned towards the elderly lawyer as he unfolded an envelope. My husband shifted uncomfortably. For the first time that day, he looked nervous. I held my son's hand tightly. He looked at me, confused by everything happening around us. The lawyer cleared his throat. Before his passing, he insisted that this letter be read in front of the entire family after his burial. The man adjusted his glasses and began reading. "If this letter is being read, then I have gone to be with my creator. But before my family begins fighting over the property, I have something everyone needs to know." The room became so quiet that you could hear people breathing. My daughter-in-law, she stayed with me through my illness when many people were too busy to visit. She never complained, never asked for anything in return. My eyes filled with tears. I remember the countless nights I spent sleeping on a hospital chair beside my father-in-law while my husband claimed work was keeping him away. The lawyer continued, "My son, if you are treating your wife the way I feared you would after my death, then you've forgotten everything I taught you." People slowly turned to look at my husband. His confident expression disappeared. Then came the sentence that changed everything. 6 months ago, I transferred 40% of my transport company into my daughter-in-law's name. The documents have already been legally registered. She knows nothing about this because I wanted it to be my final surprise. A loud gasp spread across the church. My husband shot to his feet. "What? That's impossible." The lawyer calmly removed another folder from his briefcase. "It is not impossible. All the signatures are here." The woman who had been sitting quietly at the back suddenly stood up. Her face turned pale. She hurried towards the exit without saying a word. Everyone noticed. Whispers immediately filled the church. So that was the woman. No wonder she looked uncomfortable. My husband called after her, but she didn't stop. My son looked at me and whispered, "Mommy, why is Daddy shouting?" I knelt beside him and gently hugged him. "It's okay, my son." But deep inside, I knew nothing would be the same. The lawyer looked up once more. "There is one last envelope." The church fell silent again. And according to your late father-in-law's instructions, he paused. Everyone waited. It is to be opened only if your husband asks you to sign a divorce paper on his funeral. The entire church froze. My heart stopped. My husband's face lost every bit of because that's exactly what he had done. He asked me to sign the divorce papers on his father's funeral day. And now his father had prepared something specifically for that moment. I looked at my husband. For the first time since he handed me those divorce papers, he looked terrified. The lawyer slowly reached into his briefcase and pulled out the second envelope. Guys, you won't believe what that envelope contained. The lawyer held up the last envelope. I was instructed to open this only if my son asked his wife to sign divorce papers on the day of my funeral. The letter read. Every eye was fixed on my husband. Slowly, the lawyer broke the seal and unfolded the letter. He began to read. Jude, if this envelope has been opened, then you ignored my final advice while I was still alive. My husband lowered his head. I warned you many times that money can make a man arrogant, and arrogance destroys families. I watched the way you spoke to your wife. I saw how you treated her as if she no longer mattered after your business became successful. People exchanged uncomfortable glances. Some of my husband's uncles quietly shook their heads. The lawyer continued. Your wife stood beside you. She invested all her inheritance, her dreams without asking for recognition. She cared for me during my illness when you could not. If you choose to throw her away after my death, then you do not deserve everything I built. Tears rolled down my cheeks. I had never known my father-in-law noticed so much. Then the lawyer reached the final page. As punishment for your greed, every remaining property under my personal name, including the houses in several states, my farmland and all my investment accounts, will be sold. The proceeds to be placed in the trust of my grandson. The funds remain untouched until he turns 25. The room erupted in loudness. My husband looked as if his soul left his body. He stammered, I'm his only son. The lawyer looked him directly in the eyes. And that's exactly why your father made the decision. He said, wealth should never reward betrayal. Just then, one of my husband's business partners stood up. I think everyone here deserves to know the truth. The hall became quiet again. He pulled out his phone and displayed several documents. For months, my husband has been secretly transferring company money into private accounts without informing the other directors. We've already reported the matter to the company's auditors. My husband's face turned pale. The same people who had praised my husband for years now moved away from him. He called after his relatives, but no one answered. Then he reached for my hand. Please don't leave me. We can fix this. I looked at the man I had loved for 16 years. The man I had sacrificed my dreams for. The man who chose his father's funeral as the perfect place to end our marriage. I gently removed my hands from his. You ended this long before today, I said calmly. Today, everyone simply witnessed it. A week later, I filed for divorce. The court recognized my legal ownership in the company, and I received everything my father-in-law had already secured in my name. My son and I moved into a peaceful home where laughter slowly replaced tears. He no longer asked why his father never came around. He was too busy enjoying a life filled with love, stability, and honest people. As for my husband, investigations into the missing company funds continued. He lost his position in the business he thought belonged only to him, and many of the people who once surrounded him disappeared when the money was gone. My father-in-law gave me something far greater than property. He gave me the chance to start over with dignity. Today, my life is peaceful and I'm genuinely happy. What do you think about this story? Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to follow, like, share, and leave a comment. I'll see you in my next one. Bye for now.